Hello, friend. Welcome back to Couch Tales, Why We Do What We Do, the podcast where we dive into the funny, sometimes not so funny psychology of what makes us tick and why we sometimes feel way too emotionally invested in people who don't even know we exist. I'm your host, Analia, and today we're asking, why do we feel so connected to our favorite content creators, celebrities, or even fictional characters? Are we besties with them? No. Do we feel like we are? Absolutely. Let's talk about parasocial relationships, also known as why you feel like you and your favorite YouTuber would totally vibe in real life. Meet Matt. Matt is a normal guy. He has friends, a job, and an alarming number of unread emails. But every night after work, he sits down, grabs a snack, and watches his favorite streamer, Chris. Chris is hilarious. He plays Matt's favorite games, talks about life, and even responds to fan comments in his live streams. Over time, Matt starts feeling like he knows Chris, like if they met in real life, they'd totally be friends. But here's where things get interesting. One day, Matt sends Chris a message. Nothing weird, just a funny joke in the comments. Chris doesn't reply. No big deal, but then Matt notices Chris responding to other fans. Suddenly, Matt feels hurt, rejected. Why does it feel personal? Isn't his friend, right? And yet, Matt finds himself defending Chris online when people criticize him, getting way too invested in drama involving Chris, and even feeling jealous when Chris talks about his real friends. Matt isn't being weird. He's experiencing a parasocial relationship, and he's definitely not alone. So, what is a parasocial relationship? A parasocial relationship is a one-sided emotional bond where a person feels connected to a public figure, like a celebrity, an influencer, or even a fictional character. It's been happening for decades. Think Elvis fans crying in the audience, or people feeling personally betrayed when their favorite TV character gets killed off. I know I did at the end of one day. But thanks to social media, it's stronger than ever. Unlike old-school celebrities, influencers talk directly to us through vlogs, live streams, and personal updates. They share their morning routines, their struggles, their late-night thoughts, so it feels like we know them. The brain, it doesn't know the difference between real friendships and parasocial ones. So why do we get so invested? Number one, back in the caveman days, being part of a group was life or death. Your tribe equals survival. So our brains are wired to form strong social bonds, even when the person on the other side doesn't know we exist. For Matt, Chris feels like part of this social circle. His brain doesn't realize this is a one-sided connection. Number two, ever notice how influencers talk to the camera like they're talking to you? They use words like, "Hey guys, I love you all so much. You won't believe what happened to me today." That casual personal vibe tricks the brain into thinking, wait, this feels like a friend telling me a story. And because we see them in our daily routine, we feel close to them, even if they have millions of other fans. Number three, ever cried when your favorite creator got emotional, felt personally betrayed when they changed their content, got defensive when someone criticized them? That's because your brain treats this like a real relationship. Just like how seeing a friend hurt makes us sad, seeing a favorite influencer or podcaster struggle can hit way too hard. So what would the psychology squad say? A certain bearded Austrian might argue that parasocial relationships can fill an emotional need, especially if someone lacks deep social connections in real life. The researcher who coined the term parasocial relationships in the 1950s would say TV hosts and entertainers have always made people feel like they have a personal connection. Social media just cranked that up to 100. And behaviorists would argue that these relationships are reinforced by small, random interactions, like when a streamer does reply to a fan, making them feel special. So, are parasocial relationships bad? Well, not necessarily. In fact, they can be comforting. Having a favorite creator can, number one, provide a sense of community. We all love this person together. Number two, offer emotional support. Their content helped me through a tough time. And number three, be fun and inspiring. They motivate me to chase my dreams. But there's a line. If someone becomes obsessed, if they expect personal attention, If they prioritize an influencer over real relationships, that's when it gets unhealthy. Matt eventually realized Chris isn't his actual friend, and that's okay. He can still enjoy the content without feeling entitled to personal attention. So, if you've ever felt like you know your favorite content creator a little too well, don't worry. It's just your brain doing brain things. Just remember, liking someone's content is great, but real-life friendships are the ones that actually text back. All right, that's it for today's episode of Couch Tales, Why We Do What We Do. I'm your host, Analia. If you like this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who also thinks they'd be besties with their favorite YouTuber. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and maybe touch some grass.